Christopher Wray, the FBI director, facing off in the Senate Judiciary Committee. Our friend, Senator John Kennedy, he's not our friend. I've never met him, but I want to meet him, and I want to have a beer with him. Senator John Kennedy kicked things off.
Why didn't the FBI just say, hey, the laptop's real? Why didn't you just tell everybody the laptop's real? We're not vouching for what's on it, but it's real. This isn't a fiction.
Just some context here. I'm sure you've already picked up on this, but I just want to make sure that you know. This had to do with the controversy leading up to the presidential election when that a letter of 50 so-called intelligence community experts and all of the media and the New York Times and everybody said that the Russia laptop was in fact Russian excuse me, did I say the Russian laptop? Sorry, the Hunter Biden laptop was Russian disinformation. And Rudy Giuliani and Donald Trump are engaged in Russian propaganda, and it's a Russian info op campaign. And here's Putin trying to steal the election, and they're betraying the country because that's all they got. That's all they got. And the FBI knew better. The FBI had that laptop. Sorry, I got very excited there. The FBI hit my mouse. The FBI had that laptop from December of 2019. A year before. They knew that it was legit. They knew it was real. And Kennedy is saying something very specific here and very important, especially when you're about to hear Christopher Wray's answer, which was, you didn't need to come out and say Hunter Biden's guilty. You didn't need to come out and say that, that he's going to be convicted or that you've reached a conclusion in your investigation. All you had to do, as you were seeing people say that it was Russian disinformation and you were asked about it, all you had to do was say, this is not Russian disinformation. That's it. Because that's the truth. And what John Kennedy is saying is, why didn't you, Senator Kennedy, what he is saying is, why didn't you just step forward and tell us the truth? Nothing more. Don't get involved in politics. Don't, screw up your ongoing investigation. It's always an ongoing investigation. All you had to do was say the truth. That's not too much to ask from the FBI. In fact, it's literally the bare minimum to ask from the FBI. We're 3 weeks before the election. The Hunter Biden laptop story hits the New York Post. It is immediately slimed and slandered as Russian disinformation, including by Joe Biden himself at a debate against Donald Trump. All the FBI had to do was say, it's real. It is not Russian disinformation. And we will have no further comment until our criminal investigation is complete. That's all they had to say. So why didn't they?
Well, as you might imagine, the FBI cannot, especially in a time like that, be talking about an ongoing investigation. Second, I would tell you that at least my understanding is that both the FBI folks involved in the conversations and the Twitter folks involved in the conversations both say that the FBI did not direct Twitter to suppress.
But others were in government.
Well, I can't speak to others in government. Now, that's part of the point that I was trying to make, because the Fifth Circuit's opinion.
You're the FBI. You're not part of the White House and part of Homeland Security. You're not supposed to be political. You see all this controversy going on. Why didn't the FBI say, time out, folks? We're not getting in the middle of this, but the laptop's real.
Again, we have to be very careful about what we can say, especially in the middle of an election season, because that's precisely some of the problems that led to my predecessors' negative findings from the Inspector General.
Did you hear a gavel?
Thank you, Senator.
That is slimy and smarmy and deceptive and disgusting. Well, my predecessor, James Comey, he got into a lot of hot water because he said something about Hillary Clinton's emails during the presidential campaign. Think about what Christopher Wray is saying here. We can't get involved in something like that if it's political, because then we'll be criticized. We can't tell the truth. We would much rather sit back and let a lie catch fire across the nation, thus absolving one person in the political equation and at the same time slandering the other person. Because understand something. Christopher Wray saying that this laptop is not Russian disinformation would not indict Joe Biden. All it would do is silence the people who claimed it was Russian disinformation. But by not saying anything, he's claiming, I can't say anything because that would be political. Well, by not telling the truth, By not saying something, he allowed the lie to fester. He allowed the lie to be the only official word from the United States government. And that lie, in fact, did indict Donald Trump. Because the lie was, this is Russian disinformation, and Donald Trump and his minion, Rudy Giuliani, created it, and they're working with Putin to steal the election. And by his silence, Christopher Wray allowed that to be the narrative. So this whole thing, well, we can't say anything in the middle of an election. By not saying something, he's actually engaging in politics, more so than if he just told the truth. What a despicable human being. And that's just scratching the surface. Josh Hawley wanted to know why Catholics are being targeted by the FBI. He still hasn't given a real good answer to this. So here's the latest try.
Director, this is one of the most outrageous targetings. You have mobilized your division, the most powerful law enforcement division in the world, against traditionalist Catholics, whatever the heck that means. And you're just told us you have not fired a single person. I mean, here, it gets worse. Your Richmond field office, they thought there was nothing wrong with this. The House interviewed the head of the Richmond field office. He testified. It's all here in the public report. I refer you to it, pages 12, 13, 14. He testified he saw no problem with this. He said he thought it was fine. In fact, we have internal memoranda of the members of the field office high-fiving. One peer reviewer, another member of the field office wrote, I think this is a great product. I really enjoyed the read. Do you have a problem with systemic bigotry against Catholics in the FBI?
No.
What are you going to do about this? Are you going to fire these people or not?
Those individuals have all been admonished, and it is all going into their, if you would let me finish my answer, it is all going into their annual performance reviews, which has direct impact on their compensation, among other things.
Oh, I see. Oh, I see. I see. So the 60 million American Catholics who now learn that your FBI has recommended that priests be recruited as informants, your FBI has gone to priests, choir directors, but we're to feel better because you've admonished them for their wrongdoing.
You again are conflating two different things.
I'm not. I am taking your testimony where you said you do not. You said categorically, you said we do not go to priests and ask them about their parishioners. You said we do not. You didn't say we haven't. You didn't say we won't. You said we don't. As it turns out, you do. And you kept it from the public. You deliberately misled Congress about it. And the only reason we know about it is because a whistleblower came forward.
I just fundamentally disagree with your characterization.
Well, there's no characterization. The facts are the facts. And I fundamentally resent the fact that you have violated, if not the spirit, if not the letter, certainly the spirit of the First Amendment, and use your law enforcement agency against Catholics in this nation.
Yeah, and by doing that, it doesn't actually warrant being fired. You get warned, and it goes into your permanent record, young man. And as you heard from Christopher Wray, this is going to affect what kind of raise they get. Wow. Instead of that big raise, you're only going to get about, a 10% increase because you targeted people over their religious practices. Every single one of these FBI agents, by the way, all raise their hand and swear to defend and support the Constitution of the United States. They might want to look at the amendments to that Constitution while they're supporting and defending it. Ted Cruz's turn now with Christopher Wray.
Is the FBI, do they make a routine practice of allowing partisan political optics to prevent investigating serious evidence of corruption?
My instructions to our people on this and on every other investigation are that we are to follow the facts wherever they lead, no matter who likes it, no matter what political influence
then why did you get the
there.
GPS data on where Hunter Biden and Joe Biden were?
Again, Senator, with respect, I can't discuss
but it's
an
not
ongoing
with respect.
investigation.
And Director Wray, you and I have gone round and round on this because I understand anytime you're asked about this, the answer is it's an ongoing investigation. Of course, the investigation isn't ongoing. You're not doing the work. You got whistleblowers pointing out that you're not doing the work. And you are hiding behind the skirts of the Attorney General.
That's right. I can't comment on an ongoing cover-up of an investigation. I can't comment on the ongoing obstruction of justice that we're engaged in, that we're making look like an investigation to keep me from having to comment on it. That's really what Christopher Wray is saying.
The amazing thing is, Director Wray, I've known you 30 years. You're not a partisan Democrat. You're simply sitting blithely by while career partisans in your agency allow it to be weaponized. And you are damaging the FBI and you are damaging the Department of Justice.
Well said, Ted Cruz. We'll let him have the last word on that one. That's all. It's honestly, it doesn't get any better than that. But I really wanted to circle back and make sure that you saw Christopher Wray's testimony the other day, because again, that didn't get much coverage in the mainstream media either. And that's why you're here. Thank you very much.